You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WLAK Daily News Roundup for Lake Air, 107.5 FM and 1260 AM in Amory.
For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly. The Polk County Health Department has officially lifted the water advisory at South Twin Beach in Amory. The advisory was issued a couple of weeks ago after water from the beach tested positive for increased bacteria levels. Those bacteria levels have been tested within normal ranges in 2 consecutive samples since then, allowing the health department to lift the advisory. Residents swimming in the area should still remain cautious of increased bacteria levels, especially following heavy rains, as high bacteria levels can lead to skin irritation and rashes. Ashland area residents are invited to attend a free small business clinic at Northwoods Technical College's Ashland campus next week. The event is being organized by the Office of Business and Entrepreneurship, the Wisconsin Small Business Development Center, the Ashland Area Development Corporation, and the hosting college. It will be held from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Friday, July 31st. Area residents interested in participating can sign up for half-hour sessions with consultants discussing a variety of topics like finances, legal matters, and marketing. The State Bar of Wisconsin has agreed to settle a lawsuit filed by the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty over its diversity, equity, and inclusion criteria. The conservative law firm filed the lawsuit in December of 2023, claiming the criteria was discriminatory for excluding individuals based on race. Under the settlement agreement, the State Bar of Wisconsin will now be required to remove race-based criteria from its programs, as well as revise its definition of diversity to exclude religion, sex, and other identity characteristics. Officials from Varesco AD, a Turtle Lake company that converts food waste into electricity, have announced the addition of new equipment that will lead to increased energy production. The company recently held an open house at their newly expanded facility to introduce a depackaging machine. The machine separates food waste from packages and sends any packages that can't be recycled to the Barron County incinerator to produce even more energy. The facility produces enough energy to power 2,300 homes each day, which is sold to Xcel Energy. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is planning to update its wild turkey management plan for the next 10 years. DNR officials say the results of the 2024 Turkey Hunter Survey found high levels of hunter satisfaction for both access to hunting opportunities and the overall quality of hunts. One area the agency plans to change is the process for the annual hunt drawing, after finding that about a quarter of hunters chosen for the tag did not end up purchasing their awards. DNR officials say they'd like to get that rate below 10%. Northern Wisconsin Congressman Tom Tiffany continues to consider entering the Republican primary field for governor. Congressman Tiffany had previously said he will make a decision on a 2026 gubernatorial run after July. There are currently 2 Republican candidates who have officially announced their campaign for governor: Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman and manufacturing CEO Bill Berrien. Governor Tony Evers is also expected to announce a decision on whether he will be seeking a third term in the coming days. North Lakes Community Clinic has announced the launch of a new service at its Rice Lake location. According to organization officials, the clinic will now begin offering chiropractic care services 3 days per week. Residents interested in taking advantage of the chiropractic services can schedule an appointment anytime without needing a referral from their primary care physician. The services are also available for patients of all ages to address issues like headaches and migraines, back and neck pain, and could even help improve sleep quality. The Minnesota Nurses Association at Essentia Health in Duluth officially announced the end of their strike in a press conference outside the Essentia Health St. Mary's facility on Tuesday. The strike began about 2 weeks ago, following months of negotiations between the nurses union and the healthcare organization. Minnesota Nurses Association organizers say their decision to go on strike was based on unfair labor practices, including chronic understaffing and the failure of the healthcare organization to take their input on patient care needs into consideration. Attorney General Josh Kaul has announced Wisconsin will join another multi-state coalition in a lawsuit against actions taken by the Trump administration. The new lawsuit seeks to halt efforts to impose new restrictions on essential health, education, and social service programs. The lawsuit argues that the additional restrictions put access to community services like Head Start, adult education, and community health centers at risk. The coalition is asking a federal court to declare the new rules unlawful and halt their implementation through injunctions. Wisconsin residents will soon no longer need to pay state sales taxes on their electric and natural gas bills year-round under the new biennial budget. The state sales tax exemption had previously applied only from November to April, when utility bills tend to be higher due to the winter weather. Under the new budget, the sales tax exemption will apply year-round and is estimated to save residents a combined nearly $180 million over the next 2 years. The sales tax will automatically be removed from energy bills beginning October 1st. For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly.
Training camp is underway. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. In Green Bay, where the Packers training camp got started, the team holding open practice to the public, the players riding the bikes of kids to the Nitschke practice field, a tradition dating back to the Lombardi era. Practices tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, open to fans at 10:30 a.m. Baseball. The Brewers' 11-game winning streak came to an end. Seattle's all-star catcher, Cal Raleigh, got a hold of a solo home run shot off of Nick Mears in the 6th, and that was it. The Brewers losing to the Mariners 1-0. That was the second longest winning streak in Brewers franchise history. NBA, Damian Lillard says after suffering that torn Achilles tendon, he asked some other athletes for advice, including Kevin Durant and a former Packers player.
I know it's going to be a long journey. I know it's a challenge mentally, just kind of learning more about it. Talking to Aaron Rodgers and KD and Rudy Gay, all these guys that experienced it and handled it differently.
That's the Trailblazers' Damian Lillard with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. There will be jerks out there who are just not kind and will take it as offensive just because it is about kindness. That is director James Gunn describing his film Superman while addressing criticism of the film as woke. While addressing the issue, Gunn asks, what is woke? Gunn says Superman is an immigrant and his creators in 1938, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, were sons of immigrants. Gunn acknowledged there is an immigrant angle, but that the film is primarily about kindness and morality. James Remar is open to returning as Richard. Remar was last seen as the boyfriend on season 4 of Sex and the City. Remar says as an actor he's always taking calls, but he does have one question. Does he have to get naked again? A lot of actors probably ask that. James Remar is now 71, so I think we're all hoping the answer to the naked question is a resounding no. Remar is also known for his roles on Dexter and most famously, in my opinion, The Warriors. Okay, Sandler fans, buckle up. Happy Gilmore 2 is on the way, thrilling golf and comedy fans across the world. Adam Sandler recently told Collider there were serious rewrites of the script due to the passing of Carl Weathers, who played Chubbs Peterson, Gilmore's mentor in the first film in 1996. Weathers passed away last year from a heart attack, forcing the production of Gilmore to adapt. Sandler says there are many tributes to Chubbs in the second installment. Happy Gilmore 2 drops on Netflix Friday, July 25th. Sad news from the world of Ted Lasso, at least if you're a certain actor. Apple TV announced Monday that Jamie Tart will not be lacing them up for AFC Richmond. Actor Phil Dunster will not return in the role, at least not as the series regular. Deadline reports that the actor had already taken a role in a still untitled HBO show with Steve Carell, creating a scheduling conflict. Season 4 of Lasso is currently filming in Kansas City. You heard that right, not in the UK. There is no release date announced yet for the new season. Former star of The Cosby Show, Malcolm Jamal Warner, has passed away. Warner accidentally drowned while swimming in Costa Rica after being pulled under by a current. Warner played Theo Huxtable for 8 seasons on the groundbreaking show from 1984 to 1992. Warner received a Best Supporting Actor Emmy nomination for comedy. He later went on to star in his own sitcom, Malcolm and Eddie. Most recently, he was seen as a series regular on the show The Resident. Malcolm Jamal Warner was 54 years old. Speaking of The Resident, and according to Deadline, producers and actors including Morris Chestnut and Shawnee Wilson paid tribute to Malcolm Jamal Warner, calling him larger than life and a really solid human being. Warner made it his goal at a young age not to be a forgotten-about childhood star. It was his role as AJ the Raptor Austin that he played for 5 seasons on the Fox medical drama that reintroduced him to audiences as an adult. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be hot and muggy today. The heat index pushing 100 or better with an actual high in the low to mid-90s this afternoon. A few thunderstorms late this afternoon and tonight. Some of those could be strong to severe with hail and wind being the main threat. Tomorrow, partly cloudy thunderstorms with a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 76.
That's your WLAK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lakeair.radio. The national news cycle never stops. but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.